So excited to have you on here, Deanne. As you know, you're the specialty that I get asked about the most, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So as you guys all remember, this is our Attorney in Heels network series of interviews. We have a referral network and we work with various attorneys in different specialties so that we can cover all aspects of law. Any legal issue that you may have, we have an attorney for you, an Attorney in Heels. And our Attorney in Heels for family law is Deanne Salcido. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you. As you know, this is the month of love, right? We just celebrated Valentine's Day and people were super in love, sending each other flowers, doing all the lovey-dovey thing. But there's also a different side to that, right? There's the, you know what, I'm no longer in love with you. I really want a divorce. I'm a little sick of you kind of thing. So yeah, this is where you come in, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have divorce seasons, and this is the beginning of the year is a divorce season, if you will.
Yeah. So why is the beginning of the year a divorce season? Is it because the holidays are over?
The holidays are over, so everybody that knew as of like October that they wanted to divorce, but they just wanted to make it through the holidays for the kids, they're ready to file and start a new year, new chapter of their life. So you have those people. Then you have the other people who thought they saw a Tiffany's receipt and then they were waiting for their Tiffany's bracelet and it did not arrive in their Santa inbox. So then there's that realization. And then the same thing happens after Valentine's. We get an uptick and that's the last Valentine's. I will not have someone celebrate me kind of thing too. So
right.
We have seasons. And so the beginning of the year following on the heels of holidays and then Valentine's and then also tax returns.
Oh.
So, tax returns come in and
then now you have money to file.
File, yeah. So you have all that, or you have money to move out or whatever. So the beginning of the year is definitely hot and heavy. So it's definitely.
Yeah. So for those of us who didn't receive flowers on Valentine's Day, who didn't get a special vacation or a special meal, this is what Deanne is here to help us with. I'm just kind of making lightheartedness of what is divorce, but unfortunately it's a very real thing. Is it over 50% of married couples that eventually get divorced?
Actually, the number's going down, and I think that's because there's less married couples these days, actually.
Oh.
But family court is still busy because whether or not you're married or not, you still have children to argue over, unfortunately. So, and then we have, paternity cases and things like that. So the divorce rate is actually going down. But again, I think statistics show it's because more and more younger people are either delaying getting married. And so they're finding the right partner or they're just not getting married at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us about what you do. Because even for the people who are not married, they might need your services, right? Anything relating to children, custody issues. Tell us exactly, the services that you provide.
Yeah, so people, sometimes they're like, do you cover that? What does a family lawyer do? What we don't do is like wills and estate. That's what you do.
Yeah.
We don't do that kind of stuff. But we do anything from, like I have a surrogacy case going on. And we do anything from prenups to postnups and everything in between as far as married people. And then we have your standard custody and visitation issues, support issues, which apply whether you're married or not married. So we do everything in between. And we're full service. We can represent you in court and take you from point A to point Z and guide you along the way. Or we can take a step back for those who are more comfortable presenting their own case, or maybe their resources are limited. We're happy to be their sort of like their guide in their ear. We do their paperwork for them at reduced rates. So we prepare them for mediation. We prepare them for court. And then if they want at the last minute, they can hire us to represent them at court too.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how that process works. A lot of people ask, they're always everyone wants to do a DIY lately, right? So, they say that 70% of people who need legal assistance never get it. So what we as attorneys have been trying to do is pivot and creating services so that we can reach those people who don't have access to legal services. And I know I've spoken to you in the past and you've talked about, you've structured your your firm so that you can give people access to that divorce help without paying a full service, in-court attorney, but at the same time, so that they have the information that they need. So tell us about how that works.
Well, basically it goes back to me and my background as a judge. There were so many people that I could see needed legal advice. And if they only had that legal advice, they might not have been in court arguing over something. And so they needed that neutral ear, but they can't afford, $300, $400 an hour for that. Mm-hmm. And my heart still is in public service, having been a judge, a DA. I've always been in public service. So I knew that this was a need. People need to be able to at least go to an attorney and say, is this an issue worth fighting over? And can you help me? I only have this much to work with. And I didn't ever want to say, no, you either hire me to take you to court or go away. No, I'll see what I can do with what you have and let's make it work. We'll sharpen your arguments. Let's do the paperwork. So a DIY kind of evolved from the need that exists. People need to at least have a basic understanding of their rights and obligations, as well as someone who can present the paperwork in a way that the judge wants to receive it, because you always have to target your audience. And so that an attorney is actually better at doing that even than paralegals, because paralegals, everybody's like, oh, well, I can hire a paralegal service for DIY. No, you can't. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. It wouldn't be wise, because paralegals are good at preparing papers. But how many paralegals can go and present an argument to a court? How many can tell you how that judge is going to react to this argument? So there's a difference between being a legal document preparer and actually being a strategician, which is
right. Knowing the case law and knowing what cases to bring up in court so that the judge will know, not only that you know what you're doing, but also the other side won't take advantage of you, right?
Exactly. And that's another reason, like DIY, we do hybrid cases. We'll do anything that the client needs. We truly try to serve the client. And I guess the part of that means we have to make sure our ego is not involved in the process. Is some attorneys will be like, no, you either hire me the whole thing or I don't want to help you, because they kind of feel like that's, diluting the legal industry. But I see it as a service industry. And if we really want to help improve our image with the public, we need to meet the public where their needs are.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely, because one of the things, like I mentioned earlier, like a lot of people just don't get the help they need if they can't afford a lawyer. So if you could tap into that market, not only are you helping people who are underserved, but you're also tapping into a market as an attorney, so that you can have a more balanced, law firm and practice as well. So I think it's valuable, because if 70% of the market is untapped, then that's where you want to go, right?
Thank you. Yeah. There's all those people that are underserved. So why not help them? It's win-win,
Yeah. So you also represent them in court from beginning to end, right?
We can step in at a case at any time. So they can start like a DIY and then decide, this is too much work. I don't want to deal with that attorney. I thought I could go to court, but I can't. So if they want at any time, we can take it over at the full service scope. But it's basically, I start at the consultation and I figure out, can this person, do they have like the technology that would be needed to do this on their own? Do they have are their emotions in check? Are they kind of still volatile from the divorce? Because truthfully, I've been divorced twice, actually 2.5, I like to say. But
where's the half?
Sorry, number 3, but that was 9 months, so I don't think that counts. But I wasn't even my own attorney for the first two, because it's just an emotional thing.
Yeah. And it's, even, full disclosure, you're going to be my attorney for my divorce. So, even as attorneys, we have our specialties, we have our focuses, and you definitely need an attorney that works within that specialty, because the law is so large in scope that even as attorneys, that's not a realm that our head encompasses, as far as, I'm a corporate law attorney and I do estates, but I don't know what you know about family law. So that's why when people come to me, I'm like, I have somebody for you. Right. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not that kind of lawyer, Yeah,
you don't go to a podiatrist for brain surgery. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So people should watch out for all those lawyers that are all service. No, you can't be good at everything. I guess you could, but it's not likely.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the values of value add that we hear, why we created this network as well. We want to be able to service all legal needs, but we know that it takes a specialized person in each field to adequately take care of clients, right? So
yeah. I mean, that's the practice of law. Like, so for my DIY clients, when I'm coaching them on what to say or what to do, a lot of them are bright and they're like, well, I Googled that and that law says I could do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's what the law says and you can. But if you take that stand in court, you're going to be eaten alive by opposing counsel and the judge, because that's not how we practice it. So that's why they call it the practice of law. And so I like to think I help my clients also pick which battle, is worth fighting over. And that's where experience matters.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your experience as being on the bench as a judge.
I actually loved interacting with the litigants. The litigants are great. So it's us attorneys that were not fun. And I mean, I loved being a drug court judge. I loved being a family court judge. It was the hardest job, though, being a family court judge. We were the first ones in the parking lot in the morning. We were the last ones to leave. My eyes were never as tired as they were as a family court judge, all the reading that you do. Mm-hmm. But I see now how that experience has really helped me focus my clients' arguments and kind of guide the judge to where I need them to go, as opposed to, and being able to neuter like opposing counsel's arguments for my clients, because I've seen so many as a judge and I know which ones like the judges will cling to and they feel safe with. So that's the thing, is getting the judge to trust your arguments and believe that you are the credible party. Or right. Because it's like he said, she said, or she said, she said. So the judge is like, well, who do I believe? So you have to show that you have the better judgment, you're child-centered. So it's learning your audience and how to make your audience agree with the way you present your case.
Right. Like an overall scope of, what's the big picture? What's the big story you're telling, right? I mean, that's what we learn, how we persuade with our arguments, right? So what's one of the things that you see that's one of the biggest mistakes of people that try to do these things pro se? Like,
the first thing is I say they do the kitchen sink approach. So they want to put everything, every bad thing that ever the other side did into it, the kitchen sink approach. And that's the worst thing. You got to do the opposite. You actually have to like pick your top 3 things and make that like the strong point. Like there's a difference between what we know and what we can prove. So of the things you can actually prove with documentary evidence, text, social media, emails, photographs, grades, medical records, what can you prove? Take your top 3 things and strengthen those, as opposed to putting everything in there, which just muddies the water, confuses and irritates the judge.
Right. So pick your battles. What is it that you are actually trying to accomplish? If the end goal is just to get out, some battles are not worth it, right? There's a balancing act of how much you're going to be paying an attorney to argue something that's not going to be that valuable.
Yeah, like, do we really care that the green refrigerator that, you got at the rummage sale, he's got it now because it's at the house and you want it? How much do you want to pay me to go argue for that? So like, I always think, your most precious thing in the world is your child. So obviously that's where things can go haywire, because people do, I'm not going to lie, there are plenty of family law attorneys that will take advantage of people over their fear over what's going to happen to their child and the other parents' care. So that is a big problem in the industry. I cannot lie about that. That's a big problem.
Yeah, it's about, how many hours can you bill for arguing something in court? That's probably not going to take them anywhere, but, a
non-winning argument, or at what cost? Because we do have to think about there's a child at stake, right? So what is the best plan for this child? Not like how much is 80-20 mean to you? So what's the best plan for the family, So sometimes we do have to talk our client into like, what are we trying to do here? Are you trying to just get back to the other side, or are we trying to look at what's best for your lifestyle and what you want? And
so what do you do when you have clients that come to you and they just say, I just really want to hurt the other side as bad as I can?
I don't really have a lot of people that actually say that, but you can tell that's what they want to do. And
right.
Usually I'm not that type. And I'll tell them, look, I'll fight hard, but I'm not going to fight just to fight. I'm too wise now at this point in my life. I have to pick my battles wisely. I'm not going to take your money
Right.
over something that's a non-winning case. So I think that's why my clients trust me and they refer me. I've never had to advertise them forever, because I do treat everybody that walks in the door like they're my friends, they're my family. And I actually camp now and hang out with former clients because everybody deserves to have an honest opinion. And I will tell them that. I'm the type of lawyer that will tell you, no, girl, those pants don't look good on you. So, so they can say, I just want to hurt them. And I'm like, well, you can't point a finger at someone without 3 pointing back at yourself. So.
Right. Like what pitfall will that cost you? Right.
Yeah. So
I think one of the things that I love about your approach, even me as an individual coming to you, was that you didn't go right to business. You check in with the person emotionally, like, how are you? Because at the end of the day, this is a very emotional process and a very emotional decision. And I love that you have that kindness and that attitude towards your clients of checking in with their heart first before, going into business.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you noticing that. I do. Like I said, everybody that technically comes through our door is treated like family. And that's just because that's how my family is. You're in our house, you're family now. So that's the approach we take. And sometimes family does have to tell other family, hey, this is not the best plan for you. Give it a rest, So that's what we're here for, is our experience and our guidance, not just to mimic back to the client what they want to hear. So that's our approach. It's an honest approach. And I can sleep well at night with that approach. So thank you for noticing.
Yeah, and I love it because you gave your practice the proper name, which is Honorable Legal Services, and you're definitely very honorable.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pun, obviously, on my past job as the Honorable Deanne Salcido, but I think it's exactly what we strive for, our team. Everybody acts with integrity.
Okay, so we know you were a judge. Any other fun facts about you we should know?
Probably people would never guess that, I spent my whole, obviously I'm a legal nerd, but I'm a tap dancer. I'm a major, huge football fan. My Rams just won the Super Bowl and I'm so excited. My oldest son is burnt. He's burnt about it. I have 2 boys. What else do you want to know? Ask me anything.
So were you a Rams fan before they came to LA is the question.
They moved. I became a Rams fan the year they moved to LA. And so it's because I was a Charger fan my whole life, but the Chargers broke my heart like they do all the time. But so they broke my heart, so I was looking for a new team, and that was the same year that the Rams came to San Diego. Aaron Donald, I saw him on the screen. I was like, that man's a beast. And I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Is there going to be a parade? Are you going to a parade for the Rams?
They had the parade yesterday, and no, not going to. Duty's call. It's the busy time of the year. Remember the season?
Right.
Yeah. So
the reason for
the holidays, that's when I usually take off.
Okay. Anything else we should know about you and your practice? How can we reach you? We need to know how to reach you.
Yes, you could call the office. Obviously, we have a website, hls-sd.com. I have an assistant who schedules everything, consultations, 858-737-6317. But I'm in Mission Valley. We have good parking and everything. But a lot of our stuff is done through the internet. We have a case management system where after the initial meeting, nobody really has to come to the office or do anything as long as they can use a DocuSign for documents. We just send it to them and they sign it electronically. And it's really user-friendly. So.
Yeah, and that's what we do with Attorney in Heels as well. If you go to attorneysinheels.com, we'll have all our attorneys listed there, and there's also a link to book, and it'll come through our office. We'll get you to Deanne if you need her. And we too are in Mission Valley and do the same thing. I love Mission Valley because you don't have to look for parking and go in circles.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's ever since COVID, that's been the standard for us too. Everything, people just want to Zoom or they want to handle everything electronically. We're set up that way as well to make things super easy. Obviously for the people who are older and they're not as technology savvy, more than happy to meet in person, right?
Yeah, we always do that too. Met in person with somebody, a DIY client, typed up a sample draft email for him to send to opposing party. and he just had to copy and paste, and we handled it that way for him. It was easy peasy.
Yeah. So prenuptial agreements, I wanted to bring that up because that's not something we talk about a lot, but I know it's really important. What do people need to know about prenuptial agreements and why they are important?
Well, they're important because, you're in love today, but things happen. And so they just give a peace of mind. People say, well, what do I need to put a prenup for? I'm not rich. I don't need to. Well, what's his name? Bezos wasn't rich either when his wife married him from Amazon, right?
Right.
They struggled, and, eventually they were. So prenups, if you are inclined to get one, you should know that you can't wait till the last second, that both sides should have their own attorney. Even if only one side can pay for the attorney, the one who can pay for an attorney should hire an attorney of that person's other choice. And there's a waiting period before you can even sign the prenup. So it's something that you should at least contact an attorney at least 3 months before your wedding to get into, that attorney schedule, figure out what it's going to say, give the other person time to get an attorney, review it, sign it before your big wedding day.
So those scenes in the movies where they sign the prenup right before going on to the altar are not true, correct?
No, just like everything else about the legal field on TV, right? It's not true. You don't solve a case in one day. Your trials are not exciting every day like the ones that on TV. Yeah, no. Right. No, it's a waiting period. It's so
it's not Law and Order for us every day, guys.
No. What else should people know about family law? Or basically, I think another thing people forget is, like, for support orders, every day that you didn't file a motion is a day you can't get back as far as retroactivity. So it's really important. If you think you're getting taken advantage of on something and you're getting 1,000 and you think you own 1,800, if you don't file anything, then there's nothing you can go backwards and say, I should have got this 1,800 from day one. No, the day one starts the day you file your case for child support and file a motion for spousal support. So procrastinators do not do well in family court either. Do your work early. So that's what we're here for. We are, my team and I, we're legal nerds. We love it. We love research. We love arguments. So I'm a proud legal nerd. I love it. I love the law.
I love it. And that's why we have you, because I know you're a proud legal nerd. That rocks the red bottoms and fits very well into our network. I'm so proud to have you on our network, and we're so happy that you did this interview for us so that people can know more about your services, because I know not a lot of people know that you can hire an attorney to be behind the scenes in your divorce and give you the legal assistance without having to pay those attorney fees for them to go to court. So
yeah, and especially with, like, domestic violence abusers, a lot of times they don't like people to get an attorney, and the person is still kind of caught in that dynamic. But if they have someone who's behind the scenes, letting them know what their rights are, writing the emails for them, we can be like their ghostwriter, and we can give them the confidence that, they're not asking for more than they deserve. So with that abusive dynamic too, and having been a domestic violence judge, I'm really good with that population as well, helping them. I tell them, by the time this case is over, we're going to give you back your backbone, and that other side's not going to know who you are. They're not going to recognize you. So
right, because they walk in there without an attorney and they still crush their side, right?
Yes, and they're like, what happened?
I love that. Giving them their power back when they need it most. Because I know going to court is really intimidating, even for us as attorneys. Sometimes, I know every time I go into court, I get nervous, but every time it's a new thing, whatever it may be. And I can't imagine what it's like for people who are not lawyers, are not sure what they're going into, and are scared because there's a lawyer on the other side. Right.
So, and I like to tell my DIY clients too, go to court on the same day that your hearing is set. So if you have a hearing that's set for a Tuesday morning, go watch your judge, or you can do it, virtually now. You can watch your judge on a Tuesday morning. Why is that important? Because in family court, every day is a different type of calendar for the judge. Mondays might be DV day, Tuesdays might be trial readinesses, Wednesdays could be trials. So go watch your judge on Tuesdays, because that's the mood he or she's going to be in on your Tuesday, right? Don't watch your judge on Wednesday if your hearing's on a Tuesday, because for all we know, Monday night, the judge has to do an exchange in Temecula and they're cranky on Tuesday mornings. And so, they're not into long distance exchanges of children. So, go watch and learn your judge. So,
oh, that's a really good tip.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. We're so glad that we could tell everyone the wonderful services that you offer, and we're glad that you were here with us to share everything. This is going to be streaming live. I'm also going to continue to share it so people know what you do. And I'm so glad to have you on our network. And so anyone out there, if you need any assistance with family law matters pertaining to divorce, custody, support, or even prenuptial agreements, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get Deanne to assist you.
Yep. And I'm happy to return the favor because I know you are also a badass at what you do. So I've seen your happy clients.
Yes, I love what I do, and I also like to have fun, right? So right. I run my practice the way I want to live my life, which is have fun, but also take really good care of our clients and, do what we love to do. Yes,
exactly. They're not mutually exclusive.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Everybody have a good night. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can always go to attorneysinheels.com and that'll come to our network page and we'll be able to reach out to you and get you to Deanne if you need it. Or feel free to reach out to her as well you said HLS. What is your website again?
www, obviously, but HLS-SD for San Diego.com.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much. Everybody have a good night. And we'll see you next week with our bankruptcy attorney in heels.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks.
All right, thank you.